Oh man, what is up everybody? What a beautiful day for a yachting, isn't it? We are down here in Newport Beach today with the man with the best Instagram name ever, Big Boat Ben Masonheimer. What's happening?
Big Boat Ben on YouTube too.
Oh, you're on Big Boat Ben on YouTube as well. Yeah, and whenever I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go hang out with Big Boat Ben, they're like, who's that and how can I come? Yeah. Something about that name is just so G.
It works.
It does. And so today we are on a very special boat. I've brought back the yachting series for this boat because I'm a Billy Joel fan, and this has Billy Joel provenance.
It does have Billy Joel provenance. It was custom ordered and designed. It was a design that was done on the East Coast by a famous designer named Doug Zern. Mm-hmm. So Doug did the design. Director Shipyard in New York built the boat, and it was delivered to Billy in 2005.
So this is now a second owner boat.
Second owner. Billy built it to be a go fast, and it was designed like a commuter from around Long Island Sound and to Manhattan and whatnot. Just 45 knots wherever you want to go, 4 people. So
well,
all of this detail you see here, these seats, the woodwork, it wasn't like this. So the current owner purchased the boat, spent 2 years in the shipyard completely refitting the boat.
What stands out to me about this boat, it's incredibly beautiful. I mean, incredibly beautiful. And I think one of the reasons that is incredibly beautiful is that it's taken the classical proportions you'd see with something like a Chris Craft Constellation, and then they've added tension by taking the shape of the deck and the shape of the waterline and stretching them horizontally to give you that incredibly aggressive transom and the rake that is sort of that rake. It's the same of having a long dash to axle ratio in a car. It says luxury when you see it.
Right, and also it makes it look lower and sleeker. It tricks the eye.
Right.
The shape is really beautiful, but it serves a second purpose. Above the waterline, this boat looks like a classic boat from the 1920s. Below the waterline, it's a 21st century racing boat. It has 5-bladed nibral propellers that are, they're probably 3 feet across, 2.5, 3
feet. The propellers? Oh, they're huge, really?
They're huge. And they're much higher than normal propellers. So when this boat takes off and lifts, those props are half out of the water. They're called surface piercing props. That's less resistance through the water, so we're going to get more speed.
So it's better at planing, basically.
Yeah, it's better at high speeds.
Yeah.
Half the propeller in the water means less resistance going through the water. So the large stern of the boat and the beautiful shape of it is very far after the propellers. And a normal surface piercing boat is going to throw a rooster tail like a jet boat 300-400 feet behind it. This one,
like you've seen cigarette boats, offshore racing boats.
It's actually more extreme than that. But this one here is going to hold that wake down. It's more civilized. You'll still see it, but it's not going to rooster tail right off the back of the boat.
Yeah, the engines are 24-liter twin turbo MAN V12s, making 1,300 horsepower each.
That's correct.
Pretty G stuff.
Yeah, the exhaust system, we'll have to show it to you. Any car guy's going to love this exhaust system.
And it's got basically a 2-speed gearbox in terms of a standard mode and then a low-speed mode, which they call trolling mode, for fishing. But in this case, you actually have to use the trolling mode because, as we learned, idle speed forward is 8 knots in this, which is like way too fast for a harbor.
It's thrown away big time.
It's really obnoxious. Rodney Dangerfield, Caddyshack level obnoxious. But the other thing that really, when you sent me this boat, what really stood out to me the most about the boat is that it's 57 feet long. Mm-hmm. It's a big boat, and it has 0 staterooms.
0 staterooms.
None staterooms.
This is just for a gentleman's boat?
I mean, the implication of having a 57-foot boat with no staterooms is that wherever you go, you got to be back by nighttime. So it's got to be fast if you're going to go anywhere. And B, the other implication is you have a much bigger boat somewhere else that has the staterooms.
Whoever purchases this could use it as a super yacht tender, say in Monaco or South of France.
Yeah. This is the kind of boat that they would stack on top of another, even much more ridiculous boat than this.
Yeah. And the other thing is, you can go somewhere quickly and then stay in a hotel.
That too. But I mean, it's just crazy. Like it's not for me, right? For me, I want to sleep on the yacht. That's what I'm about. Yeah. But the right customer this will appeal to the fact. I mean, it's like you know, it's like having the new Ford GT. It's got no trunk at all. You know what I mean? It's like, wait, I'm not supposed to like go anywhere. It's like, no, you go really fast and then you go home.
No fitted luggage, nothing. It's just go fast, go home.
The other things that really stand out to me about this boat are the incredible attention to detail in the wood grain of these captain's chairs, which are just fabulous. Now, the owner tells me that a company made these. It's called Release Marine, and they molded them after Gulfstream private jet seats, which is cool, but not as cool as the wood. The wood is so beautiful. It's like sitting on fine guitars, honestly.
Is this a Les Paul? Are we sitting on
I mean, it looks very PRS, if you ask me. It looks very Paul Reed Smith. The wood in this boat is just extraordinary. So, and I mean, also, the dashboard up here with your gauges. Do you know Spikers? Do you remember the car's Spiker? That is a Spiker dash. Engine turned metal with these white or sort of cream face gauges. The half moons on the vintage look dials. Totally. And we've got a lot of electronics here. We've got bow and stern thrusters, we've got trim tabs, all your standard lights, dual navs, triple nav. And you can actually get radio, nav, and what's
engine room cameras.
Oh, and engine room cameras from the co-pilot side. So it's a beautiful boat. What I'd like to do now is see how fast it goes. Can we do this?
That'd be a good idea.
Okay. How do we take her out of slowpoke mode?
So you got to pull it back.
Pull it back to neutral.
To neutral.
Neutral. Check.
Okay, let's see it.
That's neutral.
Okay,
I believe.
Push the button until the lights.
Push the button until the lights turn off. Okay. All right. Lights are off.
Okay, so now you can.
Now we're in regular. Just pop her into idle.
Just put it forward.
Yeah. Idle forward. Yo, listen. When those engage, that is the most aggressive engine engagement I have ever felt on a boat of this size.
Wait till you hear the exhaust as it breaks the water.
I mean, this is like, now we're just in glub hot rod mode right now. The steering on this boat, it feels cable. It doesn't feel like steer by wire.
It's hydraulic.
It's hydraulic. It's actually got some like feel to it. Other boats of this size, I don't know, you have more experience than me, but other boats I've driven of this size are very video gamey with the steer by wire.
Yeah, exactly. No resistance.
Well, is it because are a lot of people doing the sort of IPS joystick deal?
Yeah, it's just like your force feedback steering wheel from any simulator.
Yeah,
that's really all it is. But they are getting better about adding feedback. With this, you have hydraulic lines, and I'll show you those later. They're amazing, just the way they bent them, and it's just art. But hydraulic fluid, it goes in right here. When you turn it one way, it pumps it in one side of the cylinder. Turn it the other way, pumps it in the other side.
Oh, easy.
Yeah, pretty
standard boat stuff. Actually, it's like with an outboard. It's the same kind of system.
Exactly.
Okay, I'm going to clip this up. You got to speak really loud. There's 1,000 RPM. Where's our speedometer? We got a speedometer here, Rudy? There we go. 10 knots. 1,500 RPM. There we go. 12 knots, 13 knots, 15 knots. 1,750 RPM. All right, now we're getting up on plane. 18 knots, 19 knots, and now here comes the speed. 2,000 RPM.
You can hear those turbos.
There's the turbos spooling. 24 knots. 26 knots. Now we're on a full plane here. 28 knots. 30 knots. Okay.
It's so smooth, man. It's
well,
like the boat's catching up to the engine.
We have picked the right day, haven't we?
Oh yeah, this is glorious.
2,200 RPM, 32.7 knots. Wow, that's just buttery smooth, isn't it?
It's whipping. So we're at 34 knots.
30, now. Still accelerating. Haven't touched the throttle. Still 2,200 RPM.
We haven't touched the trim tabs either. So
oh, we haven't. What's our trim?
They're right here.
All right, let's trim us out. Let's max it out. Now our bow is coming down. Trim tabs are up. 34 knots. Wow, this is a smooth boat, man.
Yeah.
This is lovely. And actually, it drives like a bit of a smaller boat.
It does. Very smooth.
Can I bend us around a couple gentle S's?
Yeah. What do we go?
We're going 34 knots, Rudy.
Yeah, you can.
Just a nice gentle S. it's very nice. The steering is good. The steering is really direct. Really direct. It's actually pretty tight here too. Are we clear down there? Yeah. Wow, the hull is really smooth. 32 knots.
Go ahead and bring it up a little more.
Can we kick it up a little bit? 2,400 RPM.
Oh, feel that?
Oh.
The thing was laughing at us.
Yeah, no, now we're in the boost.
Now we're up there. And now you can hear that exhaust.
37 knots. Yeah, a little motorsport.
Oh, yeah.
There's a little bass note. It's got some V12 boom. 40 knots. Yes. 57-foot luxury boat doing 40 knots.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Let me tell you about what happens between 2,400 and 2,500 RPM. 44 knots is really where it's at. Yes. Now we feel like we're above the water.
Oh, yeah.
It feels like the whole boat has raised out of the water, almost like a hydrofoil.
Yeah, totally. I'm just playing with this.
You're just messing with the trim?
Yeah.
45 knots.
See, there we go.
45 knots.
There we go. We're doing
Guys,
it.
multiply by 1.2 for miles an hour.
There you go.
And actually, I'm speaking up for video, but pretty chill conversation.
Yeah, it's not that bad. It's so smooth, too. I mean, it's a great day, but still. Let's hook it to the right.
45 knots. And turning.
Let's do it.
Oh, this is ripping, dude. You know what this is like? It's like taking a Bentley GT through a fast sweeper.
Yeah. Or as Rudy says, it's a 40,000-pound Porsche.
I don't know about Porsche. I'm going to go with Bentley in my metaphor. Maybe a Panamera. Dude, not even dropping a knot hardly in this handling.
Yeah, we're at 43.2. There we go.
Jumping a little swell there.
Yeah,
Oh boy. Oh. Yeah, backing it down just a little. Sorry. That was going to happen eventually, I'll be honest with you. That was going to happen.
But still, we did that at...
Still, we hit it. Hit it at 44, yeah.
Excellent.
I got it at 46. It went, did it hit 45?
45 knots, yeah. This thing was ripping.
It was ripping.
And it feels really nice and tight.
And unless you're passing an object, you don't really feel how fast it's going.
Right, yeah.
You know, I had a mechanic here the other day, and we were doing this. He thought we were going about 30 knots. He looks at it, he goes, holy shit, we're going 40 fucking knots.
Well, that's why I say Panamera, because a Panamera, you'd be out in the desert in Nevada and go, oh my God, I'm doing
a Bentley is
buck 40.
The Bentley is a good.
Yeah. This is I mean, right here is what it's about. When you get on it from 23, and it spools those turbos, that's what it's about.
It throws you back.
Whoa!
Hey, let me,
That's what really separates us from the amateur hour boats is that top gear acceleration.
down on the trim down down.
You know,
Wow,
I
let's
play with it.
I'm just gonna back it out and see how it idles. Dude, this thing is kick ass. And that's the truth. Kick-ass is the best way to describe this unbelievable yacht. I want to thank Ben and Rudy for having me out. And if you or someone you know is interested in purchasing Vendetta for yourself, hit the link in the video description and get in touch with Big Boat Ben.